Hi, Lupita. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks. How did you get here? Did you get here all right?
I got here okay.
Yeah?
I took the bus.
The bus was on time?
Yeah, it
Wasn't
was
too
actually
bad?
on time today.
Perfect. I'm so glad. I'm glad you were able to make it. How have you been since our last session?
I've been okay.
Yeah? All right. Well, last week we got to talk a little bit about your children. I loved hearing about them. Today I wanted to know a little bit more about your husband. So if you don't mind, I'll just go ahead and start asking some questions and just learn a little bit more about you and why you're coming to see me, just so that, again, we can start setting some goals and working towards achieving whatever goals it may be that you have for yourself. So I just want to know, again, like maybe a little more about your husband. How did you guys meet?
We met when we were in high school. He was just, he was actually really good at school, and I admired that a lot. And his family was pretty well off. So whenever I'd go over there, it was really nice I felt a little bit more at home there.
That's really nice. Did you guys grow up here in Texas or somewhere else?
No, we grew up in Mexico.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we immigrated here not very long ago. And that's been a little bit difficult of an adjustment because I don't have any family close by.
Yeah, that can be really hard, I'm sure, especially with a large family. So were you close with your family growing up? Like your extended family? Is that something in your culture that you value?
Yes, definitely. I was really close with my family, and family is really important, but they understood that we came to America to make a little bit of a better life for ourselves.
Sure.
It's just not how I envisioned it.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be a difficult transition when you really value your close relationships with your family.
Yeah.
Did not have them here. Sounds like that would be a hard transition. Did you guys, so you came here for work?
My husband came here for work.
Mm-hmm.
I came here to join him, and again in hopes to have a better opportunity.
Yeah. That sounds good. So how has your husband been dealing with the transition? Is he finding work okay?
I think it's been really stressful and really hard on him, and I think he doesn't really know how to manage anger sometimes, and the house can get a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
So.
Do you mind elaborating? What do you mean when you say he doesn't know how to manage his anger sometimes?
I think he just takes it out in the wrong way. He's hit me before.
How often does that happen?
It happens about, I guess it just depends if it's a good week or not, but really bad weeks, it could happen every day, and really good weeks, it could happen maybe once a week.
I appreciate you sharing that with me. I imagine that that's a really difficult situation, and appreciate you opening up to me. I know that can't be easy.
I don't want to badmouth my husband because he's such a big part of our lives, and he provides so much for us.
Yeah, of course. Is his anger, more at you, or does it involve the children ever?
It's mostly directed towards me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he yells at the children, and he could sometimes say some not very nice things, but physically it's mostly targeted at me, which I am to a little bit of a point where I'm nervous and kind of afraid for our children.
Right. Sounds like you don't, like it hasn't necessarily been physical with them yet, but you don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah, I'm worried, and I want to remain true and faithful to him and to our relationship and to our family, but I'm nervous that it'll infringe on our safety.
Right. These are all really valid concerns. Do you mind if I ask, is divorce, not saying that this is the only plan of action, but is that something in your culture? I know a lot of cultures don't, believe in divorce, and you see it through. Is that something you take into consideration?
seeking shelter and in hopes that maybe he'll change in a little while is an option, but making a permanent decision to end our relationship is kind of breaking apart our family.
Right. And like I said, I'm not saying that that's the only option or what you should be working towards. I'm just trying to understand a little bit more, maybe about your culture and your upbringing and religious values, because I know in clients I've worked with in the past, they, it's not an option at all for them. They're going to stay with this person because of their religious beliefs or, family values. I was just trying to gauge a little bit better. Again, these are not things that's right for your family or your situation. I was just trying to get a little bit better understanding. How has this affected you emotionally? I'm sure that you've shared that you're scared for your children and your safety, but have you noticed a change in appetite or sleep habits?
Yeah, I haven't really been sleeping as well. He drinks a lot at night and gets home kind of late, and it's so unpredictable. I never know what's about to happen.
And is this something, the drinking and coming in late, something that happens every night, you would say, or just a few times a week?
A few times a week, maybe 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. And when he has been physical with you, is it maybe just one point of contact, or is it something that would go on for a while? Or does it just maybe depend on the
it
scenario?
Depends a little bit on the circumstances, but I guess when he comes home drunk, it can go on for a while, and it's not. The reason I'm coming here is more about my children than it is about me, because they hear what's going on and they're becoming more and more aware of it. The worse it gets. Mm-hmm. I was put in the hospital a couple weeks ago.
I can't imagine what that's like for your children and you. I know that's got to be a difficult situation. So what, in an ideal scenario, like if this problem were to go away, if the miracle were to happen, what would that look like for your family?
I think that would look like me being back with my immediate family again. Not that this isn't I mean my mother and my father mm-hmm. and my siblings again, and feeling that security again, and even with my husband feeling secure and not waking up a few times a night wondering where he is or what mood he's going to come home with. And my children just being happy. I'm just worried that they're just not happy because they're worrying about their mother, and that's not right.
Yeah. It sounds like family is really important to you, and that is, something that's really going to aid in making your life just mm-hmm. a little more, feel safer to mm-hmm. be with your parents and your children. So, and they're in Mexico. Mm-hmm. It's got to be hard for you. How often do you get to speak with them?
I speak with them probably 2 to 3 times a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are they aware of the situation with your husband?
They're aware that it's not perfect, but I don't know if they're aware of the severity of his how his anger has impacted me.
What is your parents' relationship like?
My father's a very hardworking man. Mm-hmm. He's always been working until late at night and wakes up with the crack of dawn before any of us. Mm-hmm. And my she's a wonderful cook, and she is such a nurturing woman, and they have had a good relationship most of the time. My father, he strayed away from my mom for a little while, for a couple of years in their relationship, and wasn't faithful. But from what I've seen other than that, it's been pretty solid.
And they're still together after that? They were able to work
They were,
through
yeah.
the infidelity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good. Sounds like you have a really nice relationship with your parents, and you really noticed the strengths that made them good parents and providers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you incorporate in your own parenting, things you've learned from them?
Yeah, I try to incorporate both because honestly, my husband's not around as much as I'd like him to be, and it's not even when he's at work. It could be just with friends or drinking or at a random bar, and when he should be with us, and when drinking really sets him off.
Yeah. So what is something that would, again, make this situation better for you? Just something we could work towards. I know you said a relationship with your family. I know it's hard when they're so far away, but maybe have you considered what are, like, maybe we could brainstorm some goals as how you could have better contact with them?
Yeah, I think my primary goal would be for my children to feel safe.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's really, admirable concern as a mother. What are your actions when with the children when your husband has been drinking?
I usually just tell them to go in their rooms and lock the doors.
And I know you've some of your children are older and some are still infants. But have your older children made comments or anything? Have they?
Yeah, they've told me that I should leave him. That's just not my values, and that's outside of my moral thinking. And I know it's not morally right to abuse me, or the way he's handling stress shouldn't be, it shouldn't be permissible. But unfortunately, that's what he's dealing with right now, and I'm trying to understand it and trying to see past it, but it's gotten to the point where it's really hard to do that.
Right, especially it sounds like you want to try to make it work, but you have to put your children's safety first.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It sounds like you're struggling a little bit with how you're being treated and what your values are, what you were taught growing up.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. It is like a conflicting struggle. I don't know if I should follow what I was taught as a young adult and growing up with my parents' relationship. My mom really stood by my father regardless of his actions. But when I look at my kids' faces, it's really hard to keep that going.
Sure. I think it's really great that you are here and you're working through this and you're taking the first step to try to get that safe space for your children. And we can talk about, again, I don't want to, it's not my place to make these decisions for you. This is very much a collaborative process, and I want to do what's right for you and your family. But if it were ever to be a point where you felt threatened or you felt your children were threatened, I want you to have the resources needed and necessary to, maybe give you guys a safe space. Would you be interested in maybe me giving you some points of contact for shelters or hotlines for domestic abuse? You do not have to ever contact these people if it's outside of your,
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
I can definitely, after our session on our way out, give you this information just in, you don't know, like you said, you never know what the severity of an evening will bring after him drinking. If this is a safe space for you to escape to, if it were to get to that point, I would love to give that to you if you would be interested.
Okay, yeah.
Sure. But again, so I know your family is far away, but have you made any friends since being here? Neighborhood friends, or, have your kids made friends at school?
My kids have made friends at school, yeah. Yeah, they're fitting in. Most of my children are fitting in very nicely.
Yeah. The ones in school are adjusting and doing well. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And again, this is really personal stuff. I don't expect you to share this with anyone. It's so brave of you to share it with me and open up and trust me with this. But again, that's really, I think just knowing the people around you that will provide a safe space, at least for your children. If you maybe just for a night, get your children and have a sleepover and have a night out if you know.
I think the resources would be best for me because I just don't want to be in a situation where I have to really put someone else out, and also for anyone in the community to know what's going on.
Of course, I completely understand that. Yeah, I will definitely get you those resources on our way out. But what's something maybe for next week we can think about, like a little goal to set?
Yeah. I guess just planning for the future, really, and in options to ensure the safety of my children.
Yeah.
And just, I guess, options in general for moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's a really good start. Maybe for next week we can just look into, just so you have options. Again, these are worst case scenario, and we'll have much smaller goals to work towards. But I think it's going to be a really good just plan of action for you to know the shelters to go to, closest, maybe hospitals to you, or places for your children, go hotlines to call. So maybe just familiarize yourself with that information.
Okay.
Is that maybe something doable for you
to
do next week?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so I will walk you out. Is there anything else that I can help you with this week or that you wanted to touch on?
No, that's all. Thank you very much.
Of course, you were, again, I commend your bravery in coming here, and you're doing you express your children's safety as your number one, and you are, I see that you are such a strong and attentive mother, and I think you're doing a great job in expressing those concerns and taking the right steps. Of course, right? Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Angela,
Oh! I have to cut that.